everyone. I am Venipi Mahendra from BrandWagon Online. And today I have with me Leena Lele Dutta, EVP and Business Head, Sony YAY. Hi, Leena.
Hi.
Okay, Leena, I'll dive straight in. And, considering this is your fifth year in the kids genre, and we are also, summer vacations are right ahead the corner. What are your plans in terms of content strategy, in terms of marketing, to attract more eyeballs on your platform as of now?
Yeah, so we always kind of intend to do something special for our little ones this time of the year. Summer vacation is most crucial time in the lives of children. Because that's when they have all the time in the world, starting from 8 o'clock in the morning without, the rush of going to school now that schools have opened. And, there is heavy rush for the remote in the house between the parents in the morning trying to catch the news and keeping the child engaged with the kids programming. And I think each year the remote gets even more dearer because there are people vying to kind of catch their favorite content, but for kids it's very different, because here is a time for 3 months that new viewing habits are formed. Kids, because they have so much of time on their hand, switch channels from one channel to another, and new characters are introduced. If the characters actually resonate with them, they latch on to them and they watch more of it. So this summer our endeavor is actually to kind of make the kids glued on to our characters, not necessarily from channel and YAY standpoint, but to engage them across the entire ecosystem of the initiatives that we are taking. Right from the time of them getting up in the morning and brushing their teeth with a branded, tune of ours, to the time they go down to play and experience our tunes in the malls of the neighborhood, till the time they come back home and watch their favorite tunes on air. That's the kind of experience we want to kind of bring to the kids. And that's the reason why over these 3 months, we have a new season of our shows, or new shows launching pretty much every 15 days. So it's a new content offering through our existing shows like Augie and the Cockroaches and Obacha Makun, the anime. We'll have new seasons of those. Tarak Mehta Ka Chota Chashma will come back for the third season, but this time we are, making it a little bit more special. We're getting a movie, a full-length movie for television, for them, so that they experience the entire Gada family and the ambience of Gokul Dham society in a completely refreshing way. We have that. We have Tarak slated for May. Then in June, we are launching our new show, our own IP called Hagola. I know it's a very funny name.
Interesting name, yeah.
It's an interesting name. It's based on the three characters whose initials are H, G, and L. So that's why Hagola. And they are non-human characters. They are basically, the whole insight is coming from the fact that kids and friends, when they meet, there are three friends, right? So when they meet together, their conversations are completely inane conversations. They start on one topic and land up going to another topic, and those inane conversations, inane banter is what we have tried to actually incorporate in this show. And of course, the premise of all our shows, the premise of everything that we are doing is based on comedy. And that's it's an out and out laugh out loud riot. And that's we are introducing in June. So our on air is pretty much robust across these four tent poles, but we are going to sprinkle a whole lot of other new shows, including one more new anime, new seasons of another show called Haste Raho Henry. We have Ding Dong Bell, which is another show which we have in its new seasons. So all of that will be sprinkling along, so that the freshness on the channel with new episodes, with new shows, is alive from 18th of April onwards till the end of summer vacation.
Okay. And this was only summer vacations. If you could, elaborate a bit on your overall content plan for this fiscal. I remember talking to you last year as well. And last year you had somewhere around 200 to 250 new episodes and movies and, content lined up. So do you plan to keep the same the same number, or are you going to expand this year?
No, no, we are definitely expanding. In fact, we are doubling up from last year. And most of our shows are also going to be in the space of, um, even if they are shows which we are actually procuring from international markets and international shows, the way we are bringing it to our young audiences is in the way of clever dubs and clever scripting of the shows. Gone are the days when we used to actually verbatim translate the English script and, basically talk about what is written in English and tell the dubbing artist to dub. Now we are in fact getting our scriptwriters involved with kids as to if they have to see we kind of do a pilot testing, and if we get certain nuances and certain takya kalams and certain keywords from the kids themselves, is what we actually incorporate in the dubbing. So it makes it more engaging because kids imagine this particular character and they expect the character to speak in this language using these words. So it's coming from the kids, and that's actually something which we discovered, that our voicing and our dubbing definitely should not alienate the kid, even though the characters are not Indian characters. Like a lot of our IP is based on Indian characters, and we have indigenous shows which we launched from the first year onwards. Last year we made the switch to getting shows from international markets. But even if you look at our Japanese anime, Oba and Oba Chamakun, there are a lot of Indian references that we have thrown into the voicing and the dubbing. And each of the languages has a different differentiated nuance. Like the dialogues in Hindi will mean something else, but it's not necessarily the similar meaning will get carried in Tamil. It can, mean something else, but it may sound equally funny. That's the fun of playing in an animated universe. So that's one. And content lineup going across is that, yeah, our summer lineup is here from June onwards. July onwards is something that we have consciously decided that we will launch a lot more other new IPs of ours. There's a new show in development which is called Pajama, which is Papa, Jammy, and Mama. So it's about this family. It's a differentiated animation. It's a very different animation as such. So that's going to come out. Then, of course, season time and Diwali vacation, we have another 2 new IPs of ours launching with a lot of new acquired content and licensed content. So again, like how we are doing for summer vacation, every 15 days, we're talking about a new season or a new show. We definitely plan to keep our channel alive across the entire year with refreshing characters and new shows. And our character pick also has been very, very different, in the sense that we will engage and we will pick up shows which have characters which are a little bit nuanced. We will not pick out characters which are just the ordinary run of the mill characters, which have done the round on kids platforms. So yeah, that little X factor in terms of even the characters and a little quirkiness in them is something that we actually are seeking out in terms of even our content that we are going in development for.
Okay. So you've given me a huge content lineup that you have.
Yeah.
In terms of that, what are the marketing initiatives that you have planned out? Are you only going to be present in TV or digital, or are you also looking at the more traditional methods of, print, radio, and OOH, or for that matter, even on ground, activations?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, we are in fact propelling our entire play not only from a content standpoint, but also from an engagement standpoint. So while content forms an integral part, everything else is within the ecosystem of the content or the characters that we are bringing to life, right? I mean, our core philosophy being that we need to serve the kid is in the center and kid is in the core. So we are creating content which is our entertainment quotient. We are actually making them experience the content through different touch points. So For summer, yes, we have a very extensive BTL activation. We have our vans going across the length and breadth of the country, and with our tunes, Augie and Honey Bunny and all of them. And that's the level of engagement that we will have in, non-metros, where the kids will actually come in the evenings to their local parks and experience the tunes in person. So that is the experience part of it. We're doing mall activations. We have tied up with a hotel chain for brunches, thematic brunches of our characters. We are getting into licensing and merchandising of apparels. We are doing promotional licensing with different categories, namely ice creams and confectionaries, all of that. So it's not restricted to, the traditional media like OOH and ATL and BTL. Within BTL, there's a gamut of things. Within, even on digital is not only our YouTube play. Digital for me is any sort of engagement piece which a kid picks up, whether he goes onto YouTube or any other platform to watch our content, to watching a Tarak Mehta on a Netflix, because we have licensed the content to Netflix, or to even engaging in casual games where there is a Kiko character or a Honey Bunny character. So we are building our digital universe also to serve the entertainment ecosystem and the entertainment needs for the kid today. So it's, of course, it will fructify all of it together when we have our launches and our IP launches. So the content play will happen on linear, and what else but a broadcast platform to actually have that kind of reach. No other platform actually has that kind of relevant reach today for kids, at least. So we launch our IP or launch our new content with that, and then the extensions of that is the experience part of it, which is through these various touch points, and that's what we actually plan to start and kickstart in the summer. But going forward, this is the template that we will be using.
Oh, when you talk about TV, are you going to only advertise on kids, or are you also looking at, GEC and movies genre as well?
Yeah, so we typically take a mix of genres. We also, obviously, the need to go for advertising of our shows on other channels is so that we capture newer audiences and make them land on our shows through appointment viewing. So yes, typically it would be the GE shows. And in fact, we ourselves as Sony have got the width of the network channels, right? So we have Sub TV and SET and the sports network, which also is extremely potent in terms of reaching fresher audiences. So we usually do a ATL activation and our entire planning for buying ad spots on our regional for our regional channel, for our regional feeds. So there would be, a plan specific to TN or a plan specific to West Bengal, and to just kind of boost up our regional numbers. So that's how we are using ATL. But for HSM, predominantly, it's mostly our network, because we are very, very strong over there, and other GE and, movie channels.
Understood. Speaking of ad spots and everything, I wanted to understand when it comes to kids genre. So in 2020, when COVID lockdown came about, kids genre saw a humongous rise in viewership. However, that did not translate into ad revenue. And when the viewership came down, even now, kids genre is one factor where, you know, it's still a struggle when it comes to seeing the similar rise in ad revenue vis-a-vis other genres. So, what are your expectations this year? Number one, from the rise in viewership with the upcoming summer season, and how do you see that viewership translating into a rise for ad revenue for you?
So, it comes back to the thing about viewership. Yes, you're very, very right. During COVID, we had almost a 50% jump in the GRP levels and the time spent levels on kids category. It didn't result into revenue numbers, only because, the sentiment across at that point in time through both the lockdowns was not conducive enough. I mean, the first lockdown was a lockdown. We did not know what was going to happen of it. The second wave also, because of the variant that the Delta variant, there was it kind of the various The proliferation happened in non-metro cities. That's where the distribution of pretty much all the FMCG clients was impacted, and therefore they spent less. So there were reasons for spends not being proportionate to the kind of surge in viewership at all. Post everything opening up and kids going back to school and the category kind of coming to pre-COVID levels, which we have witnessed in the past 2 months. Despite of that, last October was an exceptionally buoyant season for us, and in fact across the network, and for where ad revenues is concerned. And this April, May, June, also summertime, is when usually there is a spurt in terms of advertising. We are in a very, very comfortable position currently because, from Jan onwards, we've dominated the number one slot in the kids category, and we continue to remain there. So I don't see a reason why this forthcoming year is going to be any less buoyant. In fact, if anything at all, I am placing my bet on it being extremely aggressive with revenue numbers. But tactically, what we have actually decided to also do is not look at revenue numbers as just a pure play, an FCT play or an inventory play or an ad spot rate play. Because we have ownership of our IPs, because the IPs belong to us, we can have the entire brand weave in with our IP across the entire touch points of the ecosystem. So while a client advertises on the channel through a show, that show character can be carried on his pack. We can do, an exclusive game, casual game for him, which will give him X number of, engagement points. We can take his brand on ground through our van activations where he can sample his products over there with the kids. And we can kind of weave the entire ecosystem with his, with his brand and our characters talking the same language of the brand, right? I mean, so there are a lot of synergies that we want to lend our characters to the brand, and each of the brand propositions actually fit in very well with different characters of ours. So it becomes a matter of how not we get decent ad rates, but how do we up the overall association of a client on our channel. That's basically the agenda that we are looking to go forward, rather than just kind of get a incremental X percentage of revenue or increase our ad spot rate by X percentage. So I think clients today are not looking, and brand managers are not looking at just pure play FCT as much as they're looking at wholesome integrations. And that is basically that additional thrust that we are giving and the impetus that we are giving, and going that extra mile with the kind of characters and the IPs that we have built.
Understood. In terms of viewership, so digital, as well, saw a rise in viewership in the past 2 years. And I wanted to understand, when it comes to TV and digital, you have a very successful YouTube channel of Sony YAY. So when it comes to viewership, do you see a migration from TV to to YouTube, or do you see a parallel viewership rise in both areas? Number one. Number two, how by what percentage, or how have you seen your viewership grow on the YouTube channel? Because I know some of your content runs independently outside of your YouTube channel as well, right?
Yeah, so look, so on a digital kind of ambience, the way we are approaching digital and our digital footprint is twofold, right? So today we are actually limited to the kind of programming that we are putting up on our own channel, because the ratings determine the kind of content that is watched. And what is watched, as per the ratings, it's reflecting as it's a very boy skewed kind of a viewership that is emerging or has been predominantly on kids channels. And so we all, as content makers within the kids space, are only catering to boy protagonist stories, or going in that mold, and not feeding into the rest of the demographics or the rest of the age groups. What we have done consciously around, we just kind of put that in play, is that we are going to create on our YouTube channel content which cuts across each and every demo. So what a 2-year-old watches obviously is not what a 12-year-old watches, but a 2 to a 4-year-old, similar content profile, similar preferences of needs and wants. So we kind of create content in that kind of zone. Then we go to the middle age, which is your 6 to 8. So there is differentiated content that we are creating there on our digital platform. And then there is a little bit elderly one where, a hybrid content goes. And that's all genres of kids content. So whether you call it adventure, whether you call it comedy, whether you call it drama, whether you call it even live action, because on our YouTube, we are also getting into production of our live action shows. So it's going to be a completely different ecosystem. Yes, we will take characters and the character universe that we have built on our own flagship shows and IPs, but we will take individual characters out of that and possibly make them as digital heroes, things like that. So that is the play that we are actually kind of feeding into. So our entire content play that is meant to entertain our young kids is not necessarily in the zone of catering only to TV, and TV audiences are one audiences. We've not seen an erosion of TV numbers due to YouTube or our YouTube channel, increase in subscriber base or increase in views. In fact, they are very, very seamlessly coexisting. In fact, one of our shows, Kiko and Super Speedo, which is not on our channel at this on Sony YAY at this point in time, it's not there on air, is become a YouTube channel rage. It's doing exceptionally well on YouTube. So there are these shows which will cut across both digital as well as TV. There are shows which will be made by us inherently for digital, and there are shows which will be made exclusively for us for TV itself. So that's in a sense that the way we are actually approaching the entire digital and TV kids space.
Understood. Okay, so from what I understand, as of right now, you have an ancillary revenue model that you have based outside of simply depending on advertising revenue, right?
And
So,
that's not ancillary is actually, yes, for the lack of better term, ancillary. It's revenue at the end of the day. So however you want to look at, we want to kind of build a model wherein we in fact are monetizing each and every aspect of kids' eyeballs, as simply put. Yeah.
as simply put, yeah, actually, I was coming to that. So it's a very well put together thought. You are monetizing every aspect from wherever you're getting eyeballs. So keeping that in mind, what is the rise in revenue you have, or rather you are expecting, in FY22, vis-a-vis FY21, and considering we just closed the fiscal, and going forward, what are the expectations you have this year?
Expectations are abnormal this year. And rightly so, they should be. We are in a very stoic and strong leadership position for our channel. We have these aggressive plans to kind of keep our channel core going and maintain the leadership position, so that the advertising revenue over there is enhanced multiple fold, and then get into what you call ancillary revenues, which itself will fold into another different vertical and another different revenue line. I don't think I want to put a number to it. Our initiatives, I mean ad revenue numbers and our subscription numbers are what they are, and it's a no-brainer. But the other piece of it is something that is work in progress right now. We'll only see the results of it as we forge ahead in this coming year. Coming back to your question, that last 2 years, yes, the overall sentiment of advertising has been hit by COVID. So it is not only our channel or anything else, it's pretty much everything. But this year, FY23 has closed, respectively well for us. But again, that's no indication of where we would like, our revenues to kind of end. And I keep repeating that it's an abnormal number that we're looking for the next year, and we kind of fingers crossed same time next year I'll be able to in fact tell you the year after that is going to be even more abnormal numbers. So
I have one more question, in terms of marketing and content, considering you said you will be doubling down on a content pipeline this year. By what percentage are you increasing your investment in content as well as your marketing? Because you have a big lineup of marketing strategies as well.
So content is going to be really aggressive. Like I said, that first we are getting into this whole gamut of producing a lot of shows and pilots and things like that on various kids TGs across various genres and stuff like that. And that's something which we are putting into motion now. With regards to actual content investments for our channel and YouTube, it's definitely going to be almost 50 to 60% of what we have gone ahead with in the previous years. Digital is pretty much I mean, we're investing fresh monies into digital on our YouTube play, and that's not that sizable. I think we can make do with what we have through whatever our limited budgets on digital right now. But yeah, what we are actually investing more in terms of is fresh content, fresh IPs, a fresh kind of innovative approach towards storytelling, whether it is through visual approach, through a different animation style, or a very very different character and things like that. So we're investing into that. Marketing, yes, there is going to be a sizable investment in marketing, but marketing also we're looking at it from a very very region specific viewpoint. We are kind of, for our television audience, we're going to kind of move ahead very strongly and aggressively in markets that we don't have a leadership position currently. So we're going to go all out and kind of change the perception of the brand and try to kind of get a lot going there, rather than kind of invest in HSM markets where we are pretty much dominant. So everything will unfold slowly during the year, and we'll definitely obviously reach out to you if there's anything more of a shock value that we need you to kind of carry or talk about in the course of the year.
Sure. Speaking of that, when it comes to brand integration and marketing and branding, what are the new brands or categories you've seen, entering the kids genre space in the past 1 year? And secondly, when it comes to brand integration and how you've seen that happening, what are the new brand integrations you've planned for this year? And as you were saying, you want to reach out to the areas where you're not a leader. So will you be looking at the local brands to reach out more there? Or rather than, are you going to take a traditional brand?
No. So, okay, first question, brand integrations. What have we done? We've done a lot of brand integrations. Oh God, from our traditional advertisers of Dabur, we've got a 360 going with them where they've partnered with us on Honey Bunny, two characters, cat characters. They've taken those for real juice, which Honey Bunny will get carried on their packs, and that will be distributed, and in turn they will have associations on air, on digital, and things like that. So that's the kind of level of engagement that we're looking. We've kind of built this across almost 4 to 6 months that it's taken us to kind of see that in action. As we speak, there are many such deals of that kind with edutech clients, with other FMCGs, brands, all of that, which are currently now in motion. Should be announced soon. I don't want to speculate, but yeah, brand integrations is one very big aspect of actually pushing the envelope for us. Secondly, in terms of regional play and local play, that's an area which we haven't yet kind of gone into right now, because we were kind of so focused in terms of getting the lay of the land in play and all of those things. I think that will come a little later. Right now for us is to like kind of look at national brands and to kind of get them to see value in the associations and get them on board, and make case stories out of those associations across for the category. Definitely regional is something that we tend to look at, but that's not on the agenda as of now.
Thank you so much, Leena. You've given me a lot of information regarding Sony YAY, and thank you so much for talking to me.